Okay, hopefully that is in 1080p now. All right, so I think we left off right here, right? And hopefully everybody's coming back. I'll give you guys. I'll wait about 1 minute for you guys to come in. But let me know if it's running 1080p now, and then that's something I'll have to try and resolve before Sunday. Sunday is just all talking heads, so 720p will be fine, really. But I do want to figure it out. Okay, so it looks better. Okay, so 13 people here as opposed to we had almost 30 before, but all right, 1080p now. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's just eyeball the first image here from Jack Knack. Sent me a JPEG, so it's been processed probably, but beautiful landscape here. Um, let's full screen it and see. Oh, that looks really good. Yeah, it's a hair bit soft though. Let me see the exit data. EM10 Mark II, the 14 to 42 at F3. Oh, that's why. You're at F3.5. So, uh, oh, hey, Joe, how are you? Sunday definitely needs to be 1080p. Okay, I'll check that out. I'll try and resolve that with Melon app before then. But okay, yeah, I think on this image here, the exit data, the only thing I would have done differently is probably shot with this lens in particular at f5.6, wide open at f5.6, 14 millimeters. This lens is really just as sharp as the 12 to 40 Pro. And let's see, you did single frame, AF and MF, and then image stabilization. So if you're doing handheld, that's fine. SIS Auto does a good job. And see, and everybody, just a note, Joe Edelman just checked in. He's going to be my guest here this coming Sunday. He has a terrific YouTube channel, and he does a lot of live streaming, but he also has a tremendous volume of tutorials and DIYs and tips and tricks on photography. And if you really want to learn photography from one of the best, definitely check out Joe Edelman's channel if you haven't already. And I'm certainly subscribed, and I watch his live streams. He just had an interview with a photographer this yesterday. Oh, God, the name escapes me, but I did catch some of that, and his guests are always, really also professional photographers and have lots of great information to give. And what I really like about Joe's, well, I'll talk about this on Sunday, but I love Joe's streams because he spends the first 15 or 20 minutes just pumping you with tons of great information of what's going on in photography. Uh, so definitely check him out. All right. So let me set up my timer and we'll go to, we'll just do the, this probably won't need much editing here. Yeah, me too, Joe. I can't wait. um, this has been processed pretty much, but I would definitely add in some crispiness here or some contrast. I think I'll just work with the tone curve first. Just a slight pull here. I won't have too much wiggle room with the JPEG. There's a little bit of a vignette on it already too. I'm going to add about a 5 on the sharpening. And let's see. Let's push the shadows a tiny bit. I might try that with gradation. Straight out of camera. Okay, so it's just whatever the camera decided to do internally with the JPEG. So it's going to use all of the settings that you had. Which if I hover over the image like this, it'll tell me a lot of the things here. So you didn't do any exposure comp. You're using natural picture mode, normal gradation, and then ISO 200. We knew 1/2500th of a second. Um, and then yeah, that's all it's going to tell me for now. Doesn't look like you added any highlight shadow detail in camera. I'm going to back off the gradation just a bit. A little bit too much shadow. I'm going to back this off, but I'm going to pump up the exposure a tiny bit. Maybe just a, oh, this is a JPEG. And let's see if I can back off the vignette a tiny bit. Because that's the other thing. If you stop down to 5.6, it'll take some of that vignette off too. All right, let me punch in. Okay, now we got good detail. And I'm going to just hit the dehaze a tiny bit too. Right in here. Just to give it a little bit like, it works a little bit like a polarizer, right? On a landscape scene. And it should bring in better details in the clouds too. Okay, and then white balance, I like it a little bit warmer. I'm just going to creep that a little bit. A little bit less. And, oh, right there. About 0.7 feels about right. Gosh, I'm still not liking the contrast. Maybe touch the clarity. I just need a little more contrast in here. Let me try the dehaze. Oh, hey Elaine, how are you? I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to back off the vignette a little more. And then let's try a 16:9 crop. And just come down here. We'll center to the horizon. And like I said, these are creative choices on my part. But we don't need to see the whole sky, right? Maybe a little more sky. Just want to balance a little bit. And I think I'm done. Oh, I'm out of time anyway. So we'll do a quick before and after. And there you have it. So the image on the left is just a little bit soft. And I think going wider just amplifies sort of the depth of the image in a way. And if we punch in, you'll see how much more detail there is now. And I did that simply by adding sharpening. And then obviously white balance, I warmed it up some. And I think that looks pretty good now. What I might do, if I were to work a little bit harder on this, I might try and bring some of the highlights back in the clouds. But other than that, that's like 95% there. Okay. Oh, no big deal, Elaine. I'm on all the time, so really. All right, let's see. We have one here from Recibo Pueblo. And this is from Jose de Leon. Okay. So definitely underexposed. Let me just eyeball the EXIF real quick. EM1 Mark II, 14 to 42 kit lens, f8, 125th ISO 200, SIS1. Again, I would have probably shot this at f5.6 and used a little faster shutter speed. But I guess you were trying to save the highlights over here in the sky. So this is going to be kind of your main. This was your intent here, right? So I'll see if I can say that. But compositionally, let me just blow this up on the exposure to see where everything is. We have some sand, a building back here. So you must be on a bridge pointing kind of down and then capturing. So I'm a little confused here. Now I feel like you wanted this to be the subject because this is taking up most of the image rather than the highlights in the sky. Because if the highlights in the sky, I probably had done a landscape, a wide version to capture that, and then dialed in the exposure really dark like you did here. Because did you actually dial in exposure comp? You desaturated -2, contrast -2, and no exposure comp though. So the camera underexposed this quite a bit. So let me see. I don't think, and you chose muted profiles. So let's see. Let's see if we can auto gradation this line. This is almost the most interesting part of the picture, the way the water is flowing towards you, I believe. I might just crop out this whole thing with the sun. It's just too far away. And it needs a slight tilt. I always spend the most time on the freaking crop. All right, so let's go with 4x5, 5x4. Be a horizontal. Uh, the sky looks good. It does, but it's too small part of the, it's just too small in the picture. Maybe you just crop in, let's go wider, 16:9. Forget about the ruffling. I don't know if I can balance this. All right. I did the gradation, so now I'm going to have to push it this way. Give it a little more contrast this way. Oh, 6 seconds. Let me warm it up to about 7,000. Add a touch of magenta, touch of clarity and dehaze. Put this back to vivid. And I'm out of time. All right, so a little more straightening. Whew, man. So we'll let that render, but I can't figure out how the camera underexposed this so much because the point of light is so small up there. This is, I just don't quite understand. Unless, no, you weren't shooting in manual, I don't think, but the angle at the bottom coming straight down on the water, I just could not find anything that looked interesting. So I just went back to the sky and cropped all the way in. And I think that's the best I can do, Jose. I'm really sorry. I don't see much else there. Yeah, it was a hard one, right? Yeah, Plato, I agree that the interesting part was the ripples at first. But then when I did crop in on that, it just wasn't enough. And the balance was off between the landmass there and the water. So This is an image I would have to spend at least another 5-10 minutes trying to figure out a good crop or composition for it. But for a quick and dirty, I think uh, this is where all the interesting things are in the image. We have the sunset with the colors in the sky. I would back this off a little bit maybe. But all right, Jose, that was a hard one. All right, let's see what we got here. We have a one from Rory Lennon, sent in a JPEG. Let's see the EXIF real quick. This is an iPhone shot, so the EXIF data is almost superfluous because I don't know what any of this would mean. But looks like you did dial in a negative 1.1 2/3 exposure comp and you spot metered. I wonder where you spot metered for. Maybe the sky? No, because then this would be even darker. So you must have spot metered here and then dialed in a negative 1 2/3. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to see the shadows, what's in there, if there's anything worth saving. And compositionally, it's just too tight all around the edges here. So what I might do is cut off the left side, but then we kind of lose the fact that this is a boat a little bit. Let me do it. Let me bring the shadows up with gradation first. And okay, that's not bad. And we don't have any picture modes with the iPhones. I have to manually saturate. Then let's crank up the dehaze and add about a 5 sharpening. I almost feel like a dramatic tone filter would do this image some good. Let me try that one. Yeah. Now I can back off the dehaze a little bit. And I think interesting, this is 4:6. I just want to experiment a quick. Just very quickly on the lines. If I center this enterprise, I like the wood blocks leading here. I like this leading front and center. What if I make this really tight? You know me, I like to get my corners right. So this corner is all of this going down here and here. Because this is basically a leading line shot, but it's not quite leading to the door properly. But I think I'll end it there. It's just a compositional choice again on the crop. My challenge is with very tight crops, it's just there's not enough room over here on the left side. Now, if there was a trash dumpster or something here on the left side, And that's why you didn't go a little bit wider. I get that, you know, because I'm not there at the scene to know what would be in the frame or not in the frame. So maybe that was a good decision not to go a little bit wider to give you a little bit more space around this boat. Uh, but if that's the case, then I would have repositioned myself a little bit and tried to get a little better angle on this boat, and you know, maybe put this Enterprise back. I would have backed up. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly what you could see or couldn't see, but definitely this door being all the way in the back corner is just awkward to look at with respect to, you know, leading the eye in, because the ramp there is supposed to lead the eye to a door, but the door is so obscure and out of angle, it doesn't have that same impact. And then there's some portals up here, which I think have some potential for being a scene. So maybe take a shot of just this one portal and the name Enterprise. Something like that might have been more interesting, but editing wise, this is what I would do as a final edit. Okay, so there's my tips. So since we didn't have a lot of pictures today, I'm gonna try and elaborate more on what I was thinking during the editing process, because really everything here is a creative choice, right? So that would be my creative choice. Okay. Um, everyone here from John Follows, some flowers. And we shot with the Pen F. Oh, I forgot you had a Pen F. With the 60 macro, awesome lens at 5.6. All good settings, center weighted average, anti-shock single frame. Good. No exposure bias. Okay, I think we're good. I don't think I would do anything different on the EXIF. So the main thing is I want to see if I can bring out some details on this flower. So let me find the one that's in perfect focus. Seems like it's focused on this petal. Right in here. Okay, so I'm gonna focus right in here on the composition. And let me just square it off and tilt it. Down a little bit. Okay. A little bit off the top to about there. Be a little more. All right. Okay, let's throw in the sharpening. $15. Off the noise filter. All right. I think compositionally that'll work for me. Now let me work on some of the colors. So you shot and muted, but the colors are really rich. White balance is fine. Let me add some vignette. I know you guys aren't a fan of vignette, but I am. I just love me some vignette. And I'm gonna do maybe a tad of clarity. Just maybe I can get the speculars here to pop a little bit. It shouldn't affect over here too much, but okay. Oh, why do you have a high key gradation? Let me try normal. I should have, oh, I missed that. I should have started with that. Dang it. All right. Add about a half a stop. I'm gonna just throw in a little more sharpening. Okay, let's try some dehaze to see if that'll bring in some more of the details here. Getting there. All right, I want to back off some of the yellow. So maybe actually go a little bit cooler. Try 5500. Oh, 57. Then I'm going to tone curve it just a tiny bit in the last 5 seconds. I'm almost low key now. All right, time's up. So we'll do a before and after. Yeah, so the image on the left, right, is, you're a little bit too far away, I think. And there's too much blur at the top. There's nothing going on. I mean, I get separation of subject and all that, but it's not really working in this scene, in my opinion, because the flowers are out of focus too. So either you need to back up and get more of the bush and the flowers, or get in really close like I did on the crop so you could get more detail. And then you would probably have to shoot at a higher aperture, like at least f8, but maybe f11. You might lose a little bit of sharpness, but not enough that you couldn't just fix it in post like I did here. And then a slight vignette, and then I cooled it off a little bit because the yellow was a little bit strong. And then the sharpening. So I think the image on the right just is, you can see a lot more of the flower and what the flower is all about, versus the one on the left, it's, too many of the flowers are blurry. So I just wanted to focus on the ones that were sharp. And that's what I did there. Yeah, I'm a vignette junkie, I know. All right, let's see what we got here. This is from Image Writer. And the M10 Mark II with the 40 to 150 kit, f4, 1/80th, ISO 200, pattern metering, single frame, SIS1. The only advice I would give here is I would shoot maybe in silent, if you're not going to use flash. Oops, my battery, hold on. Forgot to swap batteries between streams. The only thing, yeah, if you're not using flash, then with this lens, I mean, I know you're at 40 millimeters, so you're probably okay anyway. But with this lens, I would shoot in silent mode to avoid any shutter shock. Because I have noticed that when I use this lens at longer focal lengths, there's a little bit of shutter shock sometimes. So I would shoot in silent mode unless you need to use flash, in which case the shutter shock won't have much impact because the flash is acting like the shutter. But other than that, I think your settings are fine. And let me, oops, sorry about that. This button. There we go. I was trying to get the timer going. All right, so we'll do 4 minutes. Now, again, composition, I don't like these spaces on the other side of trees or objects. I like to fill the frame as much as I can, and then we have some leaves down here, nice and sharp. So the question is, do I get rid of this side or this side? And I'm gonna see if I can. And the tree's crooked. I know in real life it's crooked, but you know me, I like straight lines. I think I'm gonna just crop out the left side and just get the leaves to be see if I can get any lines to come right into the frame. Maybe like this. A bit lower, tighter maybe. Oops. Yeah, I think that works a little better. And let me try pop art. I'm going to back off some of the color down here. And I like the little rocks in here. I might even come in tighter. I don't think I even need this little bit of water in the background. And I balance the rocks and these leaves. I think that's about right. And definitely go on the vignette. Oh, a little bit more color. Well, no. Instead of color, I'm just going to warm it up just a tiny bit. Let's try 5700 again. The stones on the left side. These stones? That's true. Nice tight crop would be kind of good. But if we look at this full screen, I don't know if there's enough here with just the leaves in between the roots there to make it. I can try. Maybe. I don't see any rocks. Oh, these rocks. No, I don't think so. I think the leaves are more interesting. Let me try this crop. Yeah, I like this better. Okay, 20 seconds left. So turn off the filters because we're at base ISO. Maybe we just add a slight bit in the highlights. A slight push there and a slight pull. Then on the green channel, let's pull it back just a little bit. Okay. Let's do a before and after. It's still a little bit rich on the saturation. I'd back that off a little bit more if I were to continue this. But I think maybe a hint too much magenta too. But yeah, the image on the left, just that tree being crooked is driving me nuts. And the water's not adding any depth to the image. So we don't need that. Let's just focus on the details around the roots here. With the little pack of leaves that kind of gathered and the little stones and everything. I think those are a lot more interesting in this image. And then whatever this is here, maybe a seashell or something. Looks like a baby horseshoe crab, maybe. But there's more interesting things going on over here. All right. Oh, thanks to Morgan. I try. Let's go to the next one. And wow, we have another beautiful landscape from Surge. No EXIF data. Wow, that's weird. And this is a raw image. I don't know why that is. What are the dimensions at least? What were the dimensions? 16 megapixels. So it's not an old camera. It's at least an EM10 Mark II or something. But anyway. Yeah, we need a little bit of sharpness added. And a little bit of a crop. If this was a little bit more in focus, I could go almost like tilt this way. All right, let's do some dehaze. Always controversial when you put dehaze on a foggy scene. Whoops. Oh, this is a JPEG. The reason I say that is because my sharpening tool here is in my white balance. There's no like raw image data here, only JPEG image data. Interesting. So I'm not going to have a lot of wiggle room. Yeah, the colors are good. I'm not going to mess with that too much. I may warm it up a tiny bit. Let me just give it like a 0.4. Yeah, that's good. And then let's throw in some contrast. Oops, that's the green channel. I don't want to mess with the colors too much because they're already pretty decent. Wait, let me add some gradation first. A little bit more. All right, now let me pull the tones. Okay. Let me look at the old one again. I think we're almost there. Not too much more. Maybe some clarity will help with the tree line. And then too much grass. Yeah, a little bit too much. I'm going to back off the dehaze. Let me go back to the crop again. These 5 trees here in the middle are centered perfectly. So I'm just going to stick with that. Maybe go to about right there. Tilt it a little bit more this way. Okay. All right. I'm going to call it there. I don't think even, maybe, well, all right. I stopped the timer too soon, but I'm going to push the reds a tiny bit. Luminance. I see some reds up in here, maybe some purples. saturations. And let me pull back just a little bit. Just trying to get a little more separation in here. Okay. Now I have to be done because I'm well over 4 minutes. Okay, so there's the before and after. So I think basically I just warmed it up, cropped in, and tried to do a little bit color separation with the trees. Um, you know, being a JPEG, I didn't have a lot of wiggle room, so I didn't want to try and work with the sky at all. But the sky is significantly brighter in the background than the foreground. And so what I would do is probably push in more gradation and then pull it back with the tone curves. But I think, you know, again, it's a creative choice. I'm not a big fan of fog and haze uh, on scenes like this. I like it when we're really in tight, you know, but on wide landscapes like this, I prefer a little more clarity. So like I said, my creative choice there, because we lost all of that fog and haze in the foreground. And if we look at this, I think, you know, full screen, right? Now you can see the details in the trees, these 5 trees right here in the front and center. And then the reds came up nicely, these magentas. I think that came out nice. All right, let's see if Lightroom has anything hidden in there, and then we'll go to the viewer edits. So yeah, I do see quite a few here. I need to do this one. I think I did that one. Oh, this looks familiar. All right, so just 3 more. Um, so this is a Nikon D100. I bet this is Walter, because I know he had a D100. Yeah, I knew it. Um, yeah, that's his only prime. He has one prime lens, and it's a 300 f4. Walter's a good friend of mine, professional photographer here, local to me. I've known him for a long, long time, since college days. I'm just seeing what's in focus. So again, I want to find maybe just one patch of flowers that are in, like this is in focus in the background. These are kind of in focus. So yeah, my problem with this image, nothing's in focus except the flowers here that haven't opened yet. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go totally opposite on this. I'm gonna make everything soft. So let me just get it started with some auto stuff. That's a bit too warm. Back that off a little bit. Then just, I always like to do a touch of color noise. And then I'm going to just soften everything up. Way. Let me do some color separation. Let me see the other way. I think that works better. The vibrance works better on this one. I'm going to pull the blacks in a tiny bit. All right, then tilt it. Give it a little bit less of a square crop. Go back to the original. Just trying to see if I can get just these two groups in. Maybe not tilt it so much. That's way too tight. So just do a slight tilt. Just trying to give it a little more visual interest. Five. A little more focus. All right, then some quick healing things here. I can put my vignette in. If I get it. Close enough. Oh, I can't see your comments. Hold on. There. And some vignette. No. Yeah, I don't like that one. Let me try the other one. Back it off. Need a little bit more contrast, so I'm going to push the whites. Oh, I'm out of time. All right, so I hate that I cropped this top part off. I can't really get any tighter. So let's do a quick before and after. All right. Yeah, the image on the left, because the only flowers that were in focus were not were kind of partially blocked. Like this flower was in focus, but it's blocked by this one. This one was only in focus near the top, and then this is in focus, but then it's not facing you. So nothing else was in focus except this. So I just decided to make everything soft and warm it up and give it a more surreal look. So I think, whoops, I think I might just bring the exposure down a bit. But yeah, that's about it. Okay. Um, wow, this one is done. This has got to be Walter again, because he has a Nikon D200 also. I knew it. This is done. I mean, I might add a tiny bit of contrast, but I think let me just click auto. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. I might just pull this in a little bit and A little bit of clarity for the speculars. The touch on that. Let's do a touch of sharpening. Just on the front leaves and touch on the color noise. Maybe I can, that's stupid. I think that's all I would do. When you start with a really good image, you don't have to do a lot of editing, right? When you get everything right in camera. So if we do, uh-oh, there it is. So before and after. I didn't have to do much, right? I just gave it a tad more contrast by pushing the blacks, and then a little bit of sharpening on the front here. So if we punch in, you can see that this I just added some fake sharpening, right? But it helps the image a little bit, all down in here. And I didn't want to touch really the soft focus in the background or anything. So yeah, it looks good, Walter. Nice shot. I would have never taken a shot like that myself. I wouldn't have seen it, you know. And if I was out there, I'd be like, it's just grass, right? Okay, let's see. We have one here from Dawood. And Canon EOS M100. Oh, interesting. ISO F. So you used an adapted lens because there's no EXIF data here, really. Interesting. And I've seen this. This is like an old ski lift, right? Where people would jump or get on a ski lift and go skiing, but now it's just an overlook to the mountains. I remember there was a picture of this with lots of snow that somebody sent me early last year. So yeah, this one's going to be a little harder to figure out. I'm going to just click auto here. That didn't do anything because this line is not straight. Um, I would do that, then center it a tiny bit. All right, so that's centered and straight now. Dang it. There's some keystoning error here too. Because I'm looking at the fence line here versus the fence line here is straight. So I'm going to see if I correct that a little bit. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, John. I'm going to work on the crop here in a second. I just want to kind of get the, if I can, try and get some of this keystoning just a little bit. No, I'm not going to be able to do it. It's going to make, I'll do that much. Now that looks weird. I think that's about right. Okay. So yeah, the trees, there's too many trees. Everything is right here in the center. So I'm with John on that. So let's just flip this to a vertical, minimize the trees. The rock is interesting. My only concern is that the rock is a little bit too heavy in the scene. Click auto here, auto that. Oh, it actually did all right this time. Maybe not quite that warm. Back it off. Make it feel like winter. Um, Let me see if I can sharpen this up because it's a little bit soft. I don't know if you misfocus or if the lens is just kind of soft this way, but let me add some sharpness. Okay, so this line, like I want it to just come right there. Forget about getting the whole rock. Balance a little bit here. That's still heavy on the left side. I mean on the right side. It's because the angle of the shot, you're not centered with this thing in the middle, really, or centered with the fence. That's what's throwing my eye off. Um, I think just a little less rock and get more of this ski lift thing. Just maybe a tiny bit of rock. Because I don't want to cut off the person's feet unless I go up this high. Oh, I'm out of time. So I'm going to go back to this. And push the shadows, pull the highlights. Okay, I think that's where I'll leave it. So, yeah, that's my challenge here is the pictures are very heavy on the right side because you have this line of people, this dog, and all these trees. And this rock is just doing a piss poor job at balancing the right side to the left side because these trees are just skinny. Um, but I think that's as close as I can get it without really recomposing the scene if I was there. I would move over to the left a little bit more and but I like this line of people right here. And you're very high up, which is interesting because you're almost like looking down. It's like your camera, it's like you're standing about this high above everybody else. That's the other thing that's a little bit off for me. It's not like you're standing it's not like you're standing eye level with them. You're standing above them to kind of get that line of people from the back to the front. Either that or this is on a hill and it's going up. That's probably more likely. You're probably standing right here and then this is a hill going up. I don't know. However the scene is, I'm overthinking it now. But I think that at least now you can see people and the sky and everything. Let's go to the viewer edits. Love my way with words. Oh, hey, HCam, how are you? I don't know what I said, but okay. Let's pick the viewer edits. Oops, let me turn this off. I think I've made them blue. All right, so the original image, Yes. Give me 1 second. So here's the original image. uh, Obviously, I was using my fisheye lens, and this was a year or two ago before, we got all the restrictions. But it's a nice place in Alexandria, Virginia, where you can just go and have a drink out on the water. Because right on the other side of that white fence is the Potomac River. And they set this up, and it's really nice. And I have a lot of shots of this, of different tables, how all the tables are with different colors and things. But let's see what you guys did with it. Yeah, I would keystone anything, right, DeMorgan? This is cool. I like this. Really good processing versus the original image. Let me look at the original again. Wow, look how flat this is. And I bet these are 'cause I'm getting this very green tint to it. But anyway, yeah, I really like how you warm this up with like a red sort of color tone. And the crop is really good too. Let me get rid of this side. I like this crop. It's very well balanced. Who did this one? I have no idea. Um, yeah, this is how you'd see it after 3 drinks. That's funny. This was from Stephen Page. Wow, good job, Stephen. I really like this edit. And you did I mean, the wide angle distortion works here somehow. For me, anyway. I would never submit this as to a client personally, but creatively speaking, I really like this edit. This is great. And this one here, you went a little bit off to the left, got rid of all the fisheye effect, either virtue of crop or, but I like how you made the lights tungsten. Like this very warm glow. This is really nice. Um, I would have probably cropped in a little bit more, cropped this part off a little, well, maybe not. I'd have to see how it looks. But I do like the flow of this whole thing. Even though it's out of balance, it still flows nicely. And the yellow, the yellow tinting really warms it up and makes you feel more like it's a summer night. Yeah, a bit to the left maybe, but still, it's overall it's not a bad crop. John follows, good job. Another good edit there. And then this one here, it's just a full-on crop up to the tables or where the action is, right? So I think this works too. I would have, after looking at that other image being so warm and yellow, this looks very green now. So that would be the only change I would make here is the white balance a tiny bit. Uh, but I think the crop and the cropping in right up to the where the tables are works. Because now you can see, yeah, you can see a little more detail, full screen and everything. I think that looks good. Oh my God, what happened here? Like it's all bent. I have no idea what happened here. It's like you just crush this or squeeze this side in, or that side in, squeezed it in, and then left this side here kind of normal. I guess you're trying to get rid of this distortion here, but then you jacked up all of this. And it's crooked too. Yeah, not a fan of this edit. Maybe you guys like it. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm not really a fan of this edit. It's just too jacked up for me. We did this one. John follows again. I liked your other edit here. This one. This one was from Dawood. I'm sorry, I forgot to look up who it was. Dawood, good job on this one. I like the crop. This one, not so much. Yeah, this is a similar crop to the last one. Um, I bet this is John Follows again. But this time you did like a normal white balance, right? Probably you used the white balance to the fence line here or something. Because now all the lights are completely white. This is a nice clean edit, I think. Let's see. This is from Image Writer. Okay, Image Writer, good job. Nice and clean. Um, Definitely captures the moment, I think. What I could see with my own eye. Because you know, our eyes don't really see white balance, right? And wow. Good job with the colors here. I love this red. I love the red. I would have warmed it up a little bit and made the wood a little bit more warm, but I still see this hint of green. I wonder if these are fluorescent bulbs in here. Because LEDs don't normally give this green tint. But anyway, yeah, I love this. This is actually very similar to the crop that I started with when I was trying to edit this image. I ended up just deleting everything I edited. But this is very similar to what I did, but I didn't do this color change. I really like this. And good job crushing the blacks. Nice low key. Great editing on the color. Jacob. Good job, Jack. Good job. Jack Knack. Jake Jake Knack, I think is probably what you want to say because it's Jacob. Good job. You and I were on the same page on the crop, but you did a good job with the color. All right. Um, all right, a black and white. This got to be John or maybe Dawood. I don't know, but this crop feels very. Everybody's cropping off the right side. What the heck was over there? It was that. Oh, this port thing is bleeding right into the frame. That's why everybody's cropping right here. Okay, I get it. Because I cropped here at the top, and I sacrificed everything down here because I think I didn't like that either. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, yeah, this is a good edit. Nice and clean, black and white. Good job with the tones. Um, I would have cropped it even tighter because there's a little bit too much sand in the front. It's too bright for me. But other than that, I think it looks good. Good job on the tones. 'Cause look at the curtains here. You preserved all of the tones here in the curtains. So just a little tighter crop, and that would have been this would be an excellent black and white. Jari Kenta. Thank you, Jari. Good job. Um, is this the Beatles or something? This reminds me of when the Beatles were walking across the street a little bit. Um, I'm gonna say Dave Nelson. I don't know. And then the editing everywhere else is just a little bit of change in the white balance to make it less green, but not much else is done here that I can see. And a tight crop to the action, right? Let's see. Phil. All right, Phil. Ghost of Busier Times. Yeah. Interesting title. I like the title. No flames. Yeah, you're right, John. My mistake. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Go to the next one. Ooh, look at this. This totally changes the scene. now it looks a little less open and more, it really puts you right into it, I think. Wow. The processing, I would do a little more than this, but I think the crop is very good. The crop is really good. And then I don't know if the lights had different colors or not, but that's a nice touch too with the different color lights. Yeah, this is a good crop. I like it. Let me see full screen. A little bit of desaturation in here, so something's going on, but interesting choice on the color palette or the colors that you did, but I really like this crop. Wow. Who is this? Jarrett. Okay, Jarrett. Nice. Good eye. Good eye on the crop, I think. Good job. Um, oh, who did this? Yeah, this was Phil. This is Jarrett. All right, so the next one here. Were these lights colored? I guess I didn't really pay attention to the lighting. Oh, you want to see the original? All right, hold on. Here's the original. You know, squared in. I got it backwards. Squared in right there. Uh, yeah, it's very green and flat. But the lights themselves, I haven't, I don't think I saved any color information in the lighting. So, oops, this one and this one. All right. So this one, I don't think there was hardly any crop here, but a little bit of brushing out of the sign that was here, I think. And then colored lights like Christmas. Interesting. I like how the lighting is just under the canopy now instead of all over the place. So yeah, this is a good edit. You're the only person that didn't like get rid of this obnoxious sign right here, right? Um, if I was take this shot again, I would have walked in closer past this sign and did something different, but I didn't. I like this edit though. I like how it's just the light is right in the middle of the scene, and then the speculars with the actual lighting. Marcel. Okay, good job, Marcel. I mean, it's a little dark for me, but I think it's like 95% there. I would just brighten it a little bit. Oh, this is cool. Some partial color action. And it's a really good crop. Very similar to the ones we saw earlier where it brings you right into the scene. But it's the vignette here is a little bit heavy. So we're losing the color. It'd have been nice to have this color here and this color here to balance it, but yeah. Interesting edit. Let's see. Another one from Marcel. Okay. Marcel's really submitting some very low-key edits. Wow, this one you brushed out all the people in the scene except this couple. And then lots of blurring around the edges. It looks like my CCTV lens. Yeah, it is interesting, right? The more kind of how everyone did colors differently. Really fascinating. I mean, the colors here are different again. You know, it's hard to tell that this is the same scene, really. If it were not for the very distinctive curtains overhanging, you know, it's very different from image to image. Yeah, Marcel the Meister. Yeah, I like this one too, Elaine. It's much more intimate, definitely. Who did this one? This was Serge. Okay, Serge. Awesome, awesome edit here. Awesome edit. And Jack says, I thought about brushing them out, but was too much effort. Yeah, that was Serge. And DeMorgan, you almost set the awning on fire just because. Yeah, this is a good clean edit too, where you're just capturing the scene, nice warm lighting, feels very relaxed. Definitely very much like the mood when I was there. This captures the moment very well, I think. Not getting too creative or crazy. You're just trying to capture the moment. I think this edit does that. Um, Anne, okay, Anne, good job, Anne. I don't know if you're still here. I saw you earlier, but this one really, I think you captured the moment very well without getting creative. You didn't have to like do like everybody else is doing, but you still got the image right. So, yep, very good. And let's see, this one didn't do much with the fisheye. You just cropped in to kind of minimize that effect. Oh, the beer menu sign. Ah, that's what's been being chopped out in most of the edits. Yeah, this is very different choice of colors too, right? It's still a tad green, but there's some yellow mixed in. Or some, maybe not, but you muted all of the colors, which kind of mitigated that green tint that was coming in. And it's just a little bit tighter crop so that this is not, whoops, that this thing is not so overwhelming. But it still balances well somehow, even though that this is here, even though it's a little bit of an eyesore, this 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 beer sign. Who did this one? Oh, DeMorcan. Okay, DeMorcan. Interesting way you did the colors. It's muted, but it's got, I like these, it's like it's splashed around on the sand here and there. Yeah, the beer menu does tell part of the story, definitely, but I didn't take the picture in a way that would be conducive to that. So this scene needs to be taken in a couple of different ways. One without the beer sign, just to capture the intimacy of the people there, and one with the beer sign, maybe from a different angle, capturing sort of the story of what this place is, right? But yeah, the beer sign is, whoops, the beer sign is interesting. But I like this edit, DeMorgan. Good edit. Whoops, whoops. Here we go. Next one, I think. Yeah. All right, this one is very similar to the other one we saw by Anne, I think. It just captures this place, right? And it looks like you added these candles. Let me see. Yeah. All right, this has got to be Dave or somebody because there's like little candles on every table. So he got his flames in. But I like the tones on the sand here. I like this processing everywhere. Another nice clean edit. Yeah, I knew it was you, Dave. Dead giveaway. The only time I see flames is either from Dave or somebody playing a trick on Dave, right? Or spoofing Dave. All right, and then this one, yep. This is similar to DeMorcan, right? Where you wanted to keep the beer sign in because amazingly, somehow this lens is really sharp, right? And it just captured all of the details here of the sign, even though it was way off to the side. But nice bright image. Good processing overall. It's not to my taste, but I think the processing is good overall. Little bit harsh on the shadows here, but other than that, I think we're okay. Okay, DeMorcan. Yep, very different. Each one of your edits are so different. Um, I like the other one you did a little better though, I think, but this one is good too. Yeah, keeping the fisheye effect, right? I get that. And yeah, this one is very, yeah, a couple of people have done this kind, right, of edit where you focused in on the couple because they're front and center, but you kept all the elements that were there. all the tables, the different colored chairs, the curtains for the roof there. So yeah, this is a good crop, I think. This is one of the better crops overall. All right, Demorkin. Yep, this is you again. I think tough call. This crop is just visually appealing, and this crop is more intimate. So both of them I think are good. It's just a different way of telling the story at this place because there's many stories going on right here. Oh, and that was the last one, I think. So wow, we had more. Oh wait, yeah, I saw this one. This was weird. Who did this one? John. I don't know what you were thinking here. I don't get this. But yeah, all very interesting edits. I think I like this one the best though, from Jacob. Just my personal favorite. I just love this red. I would just brighten it up a tiny bit. Maybe the shadows. Something like that. Just a hair brighter. Maybe it looks brighter on your screen. You know how we all have different screens, but um, yeah, everyone really did a great job editing this week. And as you do every week, the edits are really amazing. So yeah, that was my favorite edit. Only because you and I were kind of on the same page. The rest of the edits really, I think, capture the moment much better, right? Because this edit that Jacob did is very abstract now, and you have no idea that there are people having, enjoying a night out on the town or on the water. But okay, so we'll call it there. So thanks everyone for sending your images in for me to edit. I always enjoy editing them for you and trying to give you some ideas and some critique. I was able to do a little bit more today because there weren't quite as many images to edit, but lots of great edits that came in on my image. And of course, I think it's great to talk about how everybody sees the scene a little bit differently or can take different things from the same image and make a totally different story, right, out of it. Um, and this is one of those types of things where you crop it one way and it's very abstract and distant, but very powerful. And then you crop it another way and it makes it very intimate, right? And then the different shades of colors really set the mood very differently for each scene. So it was really interesting to see. And that's why I like doing these when you guys edit my picture, is just to see all the different ways of looking at the same scene. Because then when you go back and you go out and take pictures, you can think about how do you want to capture this moment, right? Um, and see multiple things in one scene and then decide on how you want to capture, because clearly this was a wide angle, so it gave you a lot of options to crop in. And these are the kind of shots I like to give you guys, is wide angle shots. The problem is a lot of my pictures are very cropped in already. I try to compose the scene when I'm in the field, but once in a while I'll find a wide angle that I think is a great opportunity to see all of these different ways to express the scene, um, as we've done here today. So as always, awesome stream with you guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking time out of your day to spend it with me. And don't forget about this coming Sunday with our Micro Four Thirds online meetup. I hope to see you all there as well. Thanks again for watching. See you again soon.